Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. So we are talking about Fiqh of Zakat and the topics that we have covered in the past 5 days that we are talking about Zakat, Zakatable wealth. We went through the nisab for each categories, then Zakat on each categories, Zakat on gold, silver, money, merchandise, stocks and shares. Then we went over the retirement accounts, Zakat on debt, crops, fruits, mine metals, treasure troves, and livestock. And today we're going to talk about the recipients of zakat. And today is day 6. So let me go to that slide. Day 659. Okay. The recipients of zakat, or the eligible recipients of zakat. And it is an important topic for us because we need to know who to give zakat to that are eligible. We cannot give to anybody and everybody. If somebody just said, okay, I'm poor, give me zakat, and I give it to him, we have to verify and make sure that he falls into one of these categories. And these categories are mentioned all in one verse. That is Surah At-Tawbah, verse number 60. Allah has talked about 8 categories where this zakat has to be given. Allah says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين وعاملين عليها والمؤلفات قلوبهم وفي الركاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن سبيل فريضة من الله والله عليم حكيم. Allah says that the sadaqah or the zakat in this case here, zakat should be given to these 8 categories: lil fuqara, the poor, wal masakin, and the needy, وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا, and those who work for the zakat distribution and in the zakat department, وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةِ قُلُوبُهُم, and those whose hearts need to be reconciled, وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, in the emancipation of slave or freeing slaves, وَالْغَارِمِينَ, those who are in debt, وَفِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَابْنِ سَبِيلِ, and in the way of Allah and to the wayfarer, فَرِيضَةً مِنَ اللَّهِ. So here, before we go into all the 8 categories separately, just one thing we see that Allah has said as sadaqah. Allah did not use the word zakat. But then at the end, Allah says faridatan min Allah. That means the sadaqah, this one is sadaqah farida, which means zakat. That is obligatory charity. That's how scholars take this ahkam, that these categories are for zakah or sadaqah farida. And Allah also has used the word to start the verse, innama. Innama means exclusivity. Only and only these 8 categories. That's why we need to study these categories. And there is no hadith where, sometimes Quran will tell a part of the story, then hadith comes in to expand the categories. There is no such hadith that we know of that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has expanded from this 8 to 10 or 15 or 20. There is nothing like that. That is why the scholars, all the fuqaha, they focus on this verse, and then explanations can come from other verses or hadith also. So that is why let's talk about this verse and study this verse. Now these 8 categories, the first is fuqara, and then second is masakin, or singular is miskin. Now who are those fuqara and masakin? Fuqara, according to the view of Safi and Hanbali madhab, they are the poor, the dirt poor. Fuqara are the dirt poor, and masakin, they are poor and needy, not as poor as the fuqara. So fuqara is the lowest, having lowest position in terms of wealth, and masakin are little bit better off than the fuqara. But the Hanafis and Malikis hold just the opposite view. They say miskin is the one which is dirt poor, who is dirt poor, and fakir is not as poor as miskin. That's the difference in opinion exists. Safi and Hanbali madhab, they offer this explanation, this verse in Surah Al-Kahf, when Khidir alayhi salam explained to Musa alayhi salam why he made defect to the boat, where he said, أما السفينة فكانت لمساكين يعملون في البحر. That as for the safina, the ship, فكانت لمساكين. It belonged to the masakin, the miskins, and they were working in the sea. So here they have a boat, yet they are miskin, meaning that miskins, they can possess something, something valuable. The miskin, they have a boat here. That means they are not as poor as the fuqara. And also Quran verse 960 that we're talking about here, Allah has given 8 categories. The first category is the fuqara. The most deserving of them is the fuqara, and then masakin. So from this verse also, it appears that fuqara are the most needy. So they will be the dirt poor ones, and miskin are a little bit more, having a little bit more wealth than the fuqara. That's how Safi and Hanbali madhab explain, and Hanafi and Maliki madhab has a different opinion. But in any case, it does not matter what explanation we get from any madhab. We have to make sure that they both are eligible for zakat. The third category is zakat workers, or amilina alayha, those who work in the zakat department. Now, this very verse tells us that zakat is a system, is a huge system where we need employees to manage the wealth, to manage the distribution and all that. And that is why Allah has actually added them into the category of the eligible recipient. Amilina alayha. Zakat organizations nowadays, they may employ people, and they may have to pay their salary. Their salary should be as per their market value. Like the Zakat organizations may need to employ highly qualified people, highly qualified or educated managers, software developers, or accountants, financial advisors, distributors. So all sorts of people they may need to employ, and their salaries may come from the zakat money itself. That is why Allah has added in this verse that amilina alayya will be also eligible for zakat money. The fourth category, those whose hearts are to be reconciled, wal muallafa qulubuhum, those whose hearts are to be reconciled. Now, this includes the new Muslims, those who just entered Islam, and we may need to soften their hearts, or so that some zakat money can go to them, even if they may not be poor, they may be rich, but they are just new to Muslims. We are giving them some money, and they will be attracted to it, and their hearts will be softened towards Islam. So that category is all agreed upon. Now the question comes, how about to non-Muslims? Can we expand this category to add the non-Muslims? This is a controversial issue. This is a controversial issue. Malikis and Hanbalis said yes, and Hanafis and Shafis said no. Here I have put here M and A. M means Maliki, A means Hanbali, H means Hanafi, and S is Shafi. So to Malikis and Hanbalis, non-Muslims are okay to be added here. And Hanafi Shafis said no. And this some discussions around there. Let's not go that much into this. Now, why do we need to give to non-Muslims, and who should we give? If we see by giving to some non-Muslims we can avert their harm, then Malikis and Hanbali said yes, we can add them to this zakat category. About political campaigns, if there are some political campaigns run by non-Muslims, these campaigns will be helping Muslims. Can we give to them? Hanbali say yes. But one of the things that scholars mention, that when we give zakat on our own to the zakat recipients, we should not give to the political campaign people or to non-Muslims. If we give zakat to the zakat organizations, let the zakat organization decide who to give and how much to give if they want to give to non-Muslims. So that is what the scholars say, that we should just let the authority or zakat organization decide this matter. The fifth category is freeing slaves. Freeing slaves also added here. Although there is no slavery here, but as we can see that zakat money can be used to free slaves. And there are so many rules, fiqh rules, where freeing slaves is encouraged, freeing slaves. So Islam is actually against slavery, trying from all sorts of ways to free slaves so that there will be no more slaves. And finally, we do not have slaves anymore, and it has been abrogated. Slavery is now abrogated by consensus. So this category does not exist per se anymore. But this can be expanded to actually free some of the prisoners who are wrongfully jailed. And this is the, again, decision has to be made by the authority, not an individual. The sixth category is al-gharimin, those who are in debt. Now, this debt the person may have incurred due to some halal expenses. He is not poor as such, but somehow he incurred some debts, maybe trying to pay some medical bill, huge medical bill. He is having good income every month, but the medical bill is so huge, maybe $30,000 or something. He is not able to pay him back, the creditor back. And zakat money can be used to help him pay that medical bill or maybe education bill or things like that. That are halal expenses that he used that debt for. And then the second type of debt is actually also very important, that is included in this category, is if a person incurred a debt in trying to reconcile two Muslim parties. Sometimes if two Muslim parties are fighting, maybe two brothers have a joint venture, a joint business, and something happened, then they are fighting. And then you, with money and seeing that they are fighting so much, and you go and tell them, okay, do not fight. I'll pay whatever is needed, whatever is due, you think due upon you, and due upon you, I'm going to pay back, whatever, do not fight. So you reconcile these two parties by giving some money, either from your own wealth or you borrow from someone to settle this matter. And then the state can come in and can tell this person to you that, okay, you have done a great job. This is a really nice job. We want to take care of this debt, or we want to give you the money that you have spent in this cause. So the zakat money can be given to this category also. But this does not include any home loan or investment type of debt. This has to be a halal expense, that is consumption debt or debt incurred in trying to reconcile two Muslim brothers. Number 7 is fi sabilillah, in the way of Allah. I'm going to explain more in the next slide. Then the 8th category is Ibn Sabil, the wayfarer, or those travelers who became poor during their journey. Sometimes it can happen that you are traveling and in a foreign land, and all of a sudden you don't have money. All monies are gone. Nowadays, we may think that, yes, we have credit card, we can access our wealth, and yes, that's very good. But it can happen sometime. It used to happen in the past that money ran out. Whatever I have estimated my expense, and suddenly my ran out, or my money got stolen. So then the person may go to the local masjid or Muslim community seeking help, and if they see that there's some zakat money available, that they can help him. I was thinking about this matter. In this day and age, this can still happen. Like if I go to China, for example, and then I'm trying to buy something through my credit card, and all of a sudden my credit card got locked. Security. Okay, somebody's trying to hack in or whatever. So my card is locked and I'm not able to contact the bank, and no way I can get my money out of the bank. That means this category can be applied to me, that I am now broke, although the person may have money at home, but in a foreign land he is poor. So this money, zakat money, can help him in this situation. This is also applicable to refugees. Nowadays, those who come, they may have wealth at home, but they are not able to access that wealth due to some political situations. So this can be applicable to them also. Now, these are the 8 categories. One of the important things we have to also remember, that poor and the needy are the 2 most important recipients of zakat. Although there are 8 categories, but poor and needy, al-fuqara wal-masakin, they are the most important ones. In fact, the hadith when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent Muad bin Jabal to Yemen, and he sallallahu alaihi wasallam instructed him, teach them Islam and all that. And finally he said that the zakat to be taken from their riches and to be given to their poor. In this hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam only mentioned the poor category, the first 2 categories. So this gives us the importance of these 2 categories, the fuqara wal masakin. They are the most deserving of the zakat money. Now moving on, this category, the 7th category, fi sabilillah. Let us explain, give some more details about this fi sabilillah. The classical understanding of this very phrase, fi sabilillah, is those who are doing physical jihad. Those who are doing physical jihad, money can be given from the zakat fund to help their jihad. That is the classical understanding. Now, nowadays, this can be given to Dawa organization also. And this has been kind of agreed upon by the modern fiqh organizations. And this is because one hadith we have, really important hadith, this hadith is in Abu Dawood. Hadith has been authenticated by Sheikh Al-Albani. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the jahidu al-musrikina bi amwalikum wa anfusikum wa al-sinatikum. That do jihad against the musrikin, against the polytheist, with your wealth, with yourselves. And then third one is wal sinatikum, and with your tongue, meaning that do jihad with your tongue. That means dawah. Talk to them, explain this Islam to them, bring spread the message of Islam to the non-Muslims, to the musrikin, and that is a jihad. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned this hadith, that this is jihad. Jahidul musrikina bi al sinatikum. Do jihad with the musrik, against the musrik, with your tongue. And so that is why the modern fiqh scholars agree, pretty much all agree, that Dawah organizations can receive zakat. Is their proper recipient. I have listed some of them here. The modern fiqh organizations that agree on this matter is Muslim World League, European Council of Fatwa and Research, AMJA, Assembly of Muslim Jurists of America. And some of the scholars I mentioned here, Yusuf al-Qardawi and even Jibrin, they also all agree. So this matter is pretty much settled, that zakat money can be given to Dawah organizations. Now the third point, zakat to build masjid. Can we give zakat money to build the masjid? This is still a controversial issue. This is still a controversial issue. Some of the scholars say, yes, it is totally permissible. Some others said, no, it is actually not. In the classical understanding that masjid should be built by the state, Muslim state. But now we are in a non-Muslim country. Who is going to build the masjid? We have to fund, gather funds, and preferably from sadaqah. But if people are not giving enough money from the sadaqah, then we can ask for the zakat money. Since we are in a minority, community minority, we are in a country where Muslim is a minority and there is no other support, then we can tap into the zakat fund if the sadaqah is not enough. And if we give from our zakat money to build masjid, let us give a portion of it, not all of it. Let us give a portion of it, and bigger portions should still go to the poor and the needy, because they are the most important recipients. So this matter is still controversial. All right. More on this ayat, this Surah Tawbah, number 60. So here we see in this ayah, Allah has used for the first four categories, li, means for, and then the next four categories, Allah has used the word fi rikab, fi sabilillah. So scholars come up with an interesting understanding here. Li means transfer of ownership. So as-sadaqatu, inna sadaqatu lil fuqara, to giving to or for the dot poor, and then the needy, wal masakin, wal amilina alayha, wal muallafati qulubihim. That means that money goes to them directly, to the needy, to the poor, to those who work in the zakat organizations, and those whose hearts need to be reconciled. Money goes directly to them. They own the money, and if excess money is given to them, they keep the excess money too. As for the next four categories, Allah says, fir rikab, in the cause of freeing slaves. So money goes to the owner of the slave. Whatever money is needed to free the slave, that much money only. No excess money going to anywhere. All fil garimin. So here it will be fil garimin, in the cause of settling the debt that has been incurred while trying to reconcile two Muslim parties. So then the money will go just to clear the debt, no extra money going to anybody else. And same way, fi sabilillah, وابن سبيل. As for the وابن سبيل, the wayfarer, if a person is traveling and suddenly he gone broke, we only give the money that much is needed for him to come back home. Maybe buy a ticket for him. And no much money. He is not getting any extra money because he is rich at home. Once he comes back home, then he'll be fine. So these are the some of the interesting points that we can derive from this ayah. And also further on the zakat recipient, we see that 5 categories can get zakat even if they are rich. Even if they are rich. Who they are? The zakat workers. A software developer can work in a zakat organization. He is not poor. He can still get his salary from the zakat money. Those whose hearts need to be reconciled, Muslim or non-Muslim, whatever opinion we take, they may not be poor. New Muslim may not be poor, but we can give them money to soften their hearts. Debtor who reconcile two parties, again, we mentioned that the debtor may not be poor, but he has done a good job in trying to reconcile two parties, so he can get help from the zakat money. Fi sabilillah. In fi sabilillah, like if it is Dawah organization, say Dawah organization may need to hire employees, so he can, the founder of the Dawah organization may give salary from the zakat money, because fi sabilillah, Dawah organizations are also fi sabilillah according to the modern fiqh understanding, pretty much agreed upon. Traveler who has gone broke, he also may not be poor, he may be rich. I made spelling mistakes in here. May be rich at home. So again, they are here as I listed here in the color-coded portions. وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا وَالْمُؤَلَّفَ قُلُوبُهُمْ and al-gharimin fi sabilillah wa ibn sabil. So these are the 5 categories of recipients who may receive zakat even though they are not poor. Okay, now who cannot receive zakat? The non-Muslims, as you all know, non-Muslims cannot receive zakat unless we expand the category muallafa qulubuhum as per the Malikis and Hanbalis, then non-Muslims can receive. But otherwise, non-Muslims are excluded from receiving zakat. People might think that, why the non-Muslims should not get zakat, this is not fair. The critics of Islam may come and tell all those things, but actually the sadaqat can be given to non-Muslims. This is all open. Any amount of sadaqat we can give to non-Muslims. But the zakat is a system for the Muslim to the Muslims. When the poor person receives zakat and when he becomes rich, he contributes to the zakat system. But if the money goes to non-Muslim and he is rich now, he does not contribute to zakat system. So the whole zakat is a system for the Muslims only, and also this is an act of worship. And that is why we cannot give to non-Muslims. And we can give our regular sadaqat to the Muslim. That is open. So there is no question here. The rich, we cannot give to the rich unless the rich person falls in one of those categories as mentioned earlier. We also cannot give to an able-bodied person who can earn. He may be lazy to work. He doesn't want to work. So if we understand his situation, that he's able-bodied, he's earning capable, has lots of good skills, we do not want to give zakat to him. And also, so scholars mention that we don't want to give zakat to a devotee who prays all day, all night, doesn't go work, who refuses to work. He's a devotee. He's a worshipper. He just wants to keep on worshipping whole day and whole night, does not want to work. No, we said, no, we cannot give zakat to you. Earning money for our own livelihood is an obligation, is an obligation for all of us. And then the final category is descendants of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is a clear hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's descendants cannot receive zakat. Let's move on. Now, among the relatives who can and cannot receive zakat, we can give zakat to some of our relatives, but not all. As for those who cannot receive zakat, they are parents. If parents are poor and then the son is rich, it is son's responsibility to support the parents, not through zakat money. Same goes for grandparents and above, according to the majority of the ulama. And zakat cannot be given to children. Even if my children are grown up, and they become poor and I'm rich, it is my responsibility to support my children. So children cannot get zakat. The same with the grandchildren and below. So basically from one person's lineage, all the people that are above, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, and all the people that are below, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, this whole line, zakat is, they are not eligible for zakat. Husband to wife. Husband cannot give zakat to wife because wife is a responsibility for the husband. Can wife give to husband? This one is a little bit controversial issue. Some of the scholars said no, because of the principle that zakat money should not come back to me directly. If I give zakat, I cannot give zakat to myself. So if wife gives zakat to husband, husband then spends on wife, so the zakat money comes back to wife. That is why some scholars said that it cannot be done. However, other scholars say it is permissible to give because of one hadith. That hadith does not talk about zakat directly. That hadith talked about sadaqat. So whether or not that hadith is talking about sadaqah or zakat, it is not clear. This hadith is actually Zainab, the wife of Abdullah bin Masud. Abdullah bin Masud is a very poor person, and his wife Zainab was rich. So Zainab went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he asked Bilal to ask this question. Bilal asked that, can I give sadaqah to my husband? Zainab asked that, can I give sadaqah to my husband? In that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned yes, and there will be double reward. I was taking this hadith. The hadith talks about sadaqah, but yet this hadith has been placed in the book of zakat. So it is difficult to conclude from that hadith. That is why this controversy exists. Can wife give to husband? Who can receive zakat from the relatives? All other relatives that are not mentioned in the first category, they all can receive zakat. Brothers, sisters, uncle, aunt, they all can receive zakat from a person, because brothers, sisters are not a person's direct responsibility. So if they become poor and then the person is rich, then he can give zakat, he or she can give zakat to his or her brother, sisters, uncle, aunt, and all the other relatives. Okay, zakat distribution. Any questions so far? Should we continue? Okay. Yeah, you do not have to tell. Actually, it is better not to tell. You just have to assess the situation that he is zakat eligible. That according to you, that he does not have that much money, and then you can give zakat to him. You don't have to mention at all that I'm giving zakat. You can tell that I'm helping you, take it as a gift, but your intention, when you give, make the intention that this is from your zakat.
Yeah, there is one mention about who is not eligible to receive zakat, that is the family of Prophet.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam, yes.
Is anybody, yeah, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Is anybody alive still, or who is considered the family in these times, current times?
Yes, they are surely alive. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam family, of course, the Mahdi is going to come from his progeny, from his family, descendants. But the scholars say that sometimes we do not know whether or not the person is from the descendants of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. If we know for sure, these days many people claim that I am from the Prophet's descendants. We have to verify this claim. If we find that to be true, then he is. If we find that to be not true, then he is not. But if I give to somebody and by mistake I find out that he was actually from the descendants of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it was a mistake. You do not have to give the zakat again because it was just a mistake. But if we knowingly give, then that zakat is not valid.
Okay. And also among the relatives and other people, right? So people who can receive zakat, there would be people who are probably your neighbors and then your relatives, and then you go further and further and probably expand the entire world where the needy people are there.
Right, yeah.
What is the priority? Where should we start from, and in what order we should look at?
Yeah, we'll talk about the next slide. Yeah, then we'll address this question again. So next slide, we have the zakat distribution. Any other questions so far?
I have a question. Okay. The other quick question is the Islamic school. Are they eligible for zakat?
Yeah, if controversy, the same masjid school, same controversy, that can we give or can we not give. So yeah, some of the scholars said you can give, Some said we cannot. But in the Islamic school, there is one category, subcategory. In the Islamic schools, there are poor who are actually coming to study. Poor people, they are absolutely fine, agreed upon. If the money, if the Islamic school says that give zakat money that we will spend on the poor, then it is absolutely fine.
The school has a fund to pay for the people.
Yes,
who
yeah,
can't pay.
yeah.
You can donate.
Yes, yeah.
Brother, I have another question.
Yes.
Can zakat money be sent to the people of Gaza? And since we don't know if the money will get to them or not, but in general, that if somebody's saying that, yeah, you can go ahead and give us the money and we'll make sure it get to Gaza, because they're the one that at this point probably need the most.
Right, yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll come back to this question after I finish this slide, and I will answer inshallah. Zakat distribution. But here also we'll actually talk about the zakat organizations. So sorry, I'll take some more time and then to finish this zakat distribution. So it is permissible to give all my zakat to one category or to as many categories I want. So there are 8 categories. I can give to just one category, only poor and masakin, or the fukara wal masakin, poor or not poor. I can give to just these 2 categories, or I can expand this to any other category that I want. It's all permissible. But we have to also make sure that poor and needy are the ones needing the money most. This is the majority opinion. However, Safi Madhab says that this zakat must be distributed to all 8 categories. That is the Shafi opinion. Other scholars actually do not agree on this. Number 2, permissible to give all your zakat to one person. Yes, if we know the person is poor, and I'm sure I can give all my money to him so that he is set for 1 year or a couple of years also. So it is totally permissible. Permissible to send overseas, but recommended to give to the needy in your local area. So now here is the question comes that can we send to Gaza? Yes, absolutely. If there are some people locally in our locality, they are actually that poor, they are needing the money. So it is recommended that I give here first, and then we send the money overseas. Gaza right now is a special case actually. So I'm not going to talk about that. Gaza is a special case. It's a really serious case. So this may take preference. This is in general, I'm talking in general that we should give the money to my local area and then send overseas, or I can distribute some to my local area and some goes overseas. Now, also, it is permissible to hand over the money to trustworthy organizations. Now, as you mentioned, brother, that how do I trust? This is something that we just have to do a little bit of due diligence. Do not have to go into the depth. Not every zakat organization is perfect, but yet we have to trust them. They are doing a good job. They may not be 100% right, 100% perfect, but they will still do a better job and to reach those areas where my money, I cannot reach those areas with my money. So we just have to put some trust. So just trust is needed here. Trust can be handed over to the Muslim government if the state is a Muslim state. We can also give to Masjid administration, so who can distribute to the local community, to the needy in the local area. And also we can hand over to the trusted people. If I want to give, send my money overseas, and I know my brother is a good person who can distribute in the right way, then I can trust my brother and give all my zakat to him or part of it so that he can distribute. So he will be the money manager. So this is how we can distribute. Number 2, on the distribution, intention. Before we give this money, we have to intend that this is zakat. If we do not intend anything, then this goes as sadaqah, and we cannot convert it as zakat. We cannot change later on. The zakat due date comes on the 1st of Ramadan, and then you think, oh, I gave $2,000 to the that organization, but I did not intend. Let me intend now. No, it is gone. So that is why whenever you give to any organizations who are zakat eligible, and if you want to give zakat, then intend that you are giving zakat and you write down how much you have given, so that at the end of the year, you can add that to see how much you have given. zakat, if it is a person is not giving zakat, zakat can be taken by force. In that case, he is getting no reward at all from Allah. He is not doing zakat as a worship, so there is no reward on that. Zakat can be paid in advance. We can pay zakat in advance. Not the zakat that is already due. Some of the questions come that can we give my zakat in installment? Not the money that is due already. So I can give zakat in installment only from the advance money, advance zakat. Like next year's zakat I can give now on a monthly basis to some person, and in the month of Ramadan, when the month of Ramadan comes, my zakat due date, then I calculate how much I have given so far and give the remaining. Okay, now for crops, zakat can be paid in kind. Actually, that is the preferable way for crops. But equivalent cash also can be given. For trade goods, actually for trade goods, zakat has to be given in cash only, trade goods, unless we see there is a benefit. I have put an example, 2 examples here. Like say, for example, a person has a nails business. He sells nails. Can I give zakat as nails to the zakat recipients? You know what that person will do with the nails. I give 5,000 nails to the person. There is no benefit to the zakat recipient. So that is why we should give in cash. But in times it may be helpful if I have a clothes business and this clothes may be helpful to the recipient, then I can give clothes as my zakat. But paying zakat in cash for trade goods is the preferable way. And as we pay zakat, we should pay more than what is due. So I calculate my zakat, then I add more to it, so that if I fear that my calculation is a mistake, that extra money can help me. That's basically a room for error, and more is always good. Okay, so zakat distribution. Do we still have this question, Brother Imran and Muhammad? Did you answer your questions or still?
Yeah, I think it's clear now.
Clear.
Same here. Same here.
Okay, Jazakumullah.
Thank you.
Just a quick point about zakat versus taxes. There is some confusion. At least some brothers think that I'm paying taxes, so much taxes, why should I give zakat? So zakat and taxes are 2 different things. Zakat is an act of worship. It is a religious duty. But tax is a legal requirement. The government wants tax to run the government, even though not all taxes are ethical. However, since we are living in this country, we abide by the law, by the rule. And that is what Islam suggests. So we pay the taxes. This does not relieve us from paying zakat. And zakat is paid from the excess wealth, the extra wealth that I have not used in the last year. It is only the excess wealth and only 2.5% of that. So it is not a burden at all. Zakat is not seen as a burden. So less amount from the excess wealth. Whereas tax can be seen as a burden because it has been taken from, it is taken from net earnings. Even if my expenses are as close to the income, a person is earning $1 million, but his expense itself is close to $1 million. Yet he has to pay quite a lot of taxes. And so for him, in such cases, it can be a little bit difficult. Whereas zakat is not at all a burden. And there are so many taxes. You have property tax, you have sales tax, you have capital gain tax and whatnot. But yet taxes are legal requirements and we follow the law of the land in this matter. Zakat recipients are designated by Allah. Only 8 categories. That is what all the zakat recipients are. As for the tax, the recipient is the state. And state is supposed to spend the tax in the welfare of the state, not to oppress another country. That is happening nowadays, as we all understand. The tax money is being used to kill people and oppress other people. Tax is man-made law and is subject to change, but zakat is divine law and change is not subject to whims and desires. We can expand and understand the law based on the current situations, but we are not supposed to change it based on what I like, what I don't like. So that is how the zakat law is, and it is divine. taxpayers benefit from his tax. I pay tax and it comes back to me as a benefit. But the zakat payers do not directly get the benefit from his own zakat. So these are some of the points about zakat and taxes. I think that's all I have for today. We are 9:14 past time. Any questions?
For the poor that you see on the street or they reach out to you, are those recipients, you don't know whether their claims are true, false, there's no way to verify them.
Right. They have to actually first of all Muslim. If you see the Muslim, at that point we can give sadaqah, you know. But if we do a little bit of asking, you know, and to get our understanding whether the person is really zakat eligible, it may be most of the time. And at that time, we just take our call from the understanding of the situation.
But we have to verify or we don't.
Just ask few questions. That will be good. Do you have a house? Do you have car? Do you have job and things like that? He may still be needy. He may still fall into the category of miskin. But we just ask few questions and to understand whether the person is zakat eligible. And then if we think zakat eligible, yeah, we can go ahead and give it, even if we are wrong, because we did at least a little bit exercise here, and then I give my zakat. Even if it is wrong, it is totally fine. At least my teacher said that way, that yeah, do your exercise, basic verification, and then give. And baki Allah knows best.
Brother, one last question from me.
Yes, inshallah.
Our local masjid here, Samamish Masjid, is a beautiful masjid, but it runs on donation because government doesn't pay anything.
Right.
So I know that at least my understanding is that if I give some money towards that, I cannot say my intention is that this is a zakat money, right?
Mm-hmm. Now you can intend to zakat money if we follow those scholars who say that it is okay to give to the masjid. And there is a controversy here. So I'm not taking sides here at all. So if you follow that opinion, which is totally fine, because really great scholars support this position also. Dr. Man Al-Quda of Amja support this position. So yeah, you can intend at the time of giving that this is from my zakat money. You can intend and give, 2,000, 5,000, whatever you give, you can intend at the time of giving that this is from the next year's zakat.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. We break here then.
Thank you so much. Jazakallah khair.
Oh, Yakum, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
May Allah give us knowledge, guidance, and tawfiq.
Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Ameen.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen.